Hey, what's up guys? I'm here with my first Clash Royale video, and what I want to do is start it off on the right foot and give you guys what I did at the beginning of the game. Trying to get some beginner success tips going, some beginner advice. First and foremost, most important point that I have to make is find your play style, man. Find what you're good at, find how you like to play. Right here, this is my favorite deck. This is my bread and butter. This is like a counter-playing, counter-pushing deck. You want to place an elixir pump, create counter plays, force them to come to your side of the map, respond by counter-playing with minimal elixir, and create a counter push by putting that tank mini P.E.K.K.A. up there. Also, it's a form of like a control deck too. If you can counterplay their attempts to stop your elixir collecting, and you can succeed in countering their elixir collecting, then it's an elixir pump control deck. There's a lot of mechanics behind this deck. It might seem very risky with the minion horde in there, but I can show you a few matches in my tournament and show you why it's not so risky as you might think. You would think that everybody's running arrows and everybody's running furnace or fire spirits or zap or princess or whatever, right? But with a right placed miner, you can almost always get value off of minion horde, and I can show you guys how that can happen. Every single card, like I said, I want to get this off my chest, is good in this game almost. Like, every single card is usable. Every single card. Some might not be usable for my playstyle, and I'm going to tell you that they're bad for my playstyle. I'm going to tell you right now, if I say a card is bad, that means that it's probably bad for my playstyle in my ranking category for players that are fighting in my range. So, players that I'm fighting might have certain specific playstyles that aren't really... You can't go and rocket them or expo them. And I'm not saying that those are bad cards. Notably, those are one of the weaker two cards in the game that people don't really use too much. I see people win with it all the time, but it depends on how you have your playstyle set up and how you dictate the flow of the match. Really, that's what it's all about. Early on in the game, first thing you're gonna notice is you probably won't know which cards to choose. Let's just say you just started out, right? Will tell you right now, almost every deck has mini P.E.K.K.A. in it. This card it just does wonders. It counters Hog Rider. It counters other mini P.E.K.K.A.s. It counters like anything that's like more of like a bruiser, like Knight or something. It can actually, like if it's on your side of the map, it's such an offensive unit. It can take a turret almost all by itself as long as it gets there unshathed. Like this card is like a must right now. It just feels like how do you answer Royal Giant? How do you answer Giant? Like at a lower stage, you're gonna see a lot of Giants. How do you kill that Giant? You know, it's such a difficult card to deal with, but mini P.E.K.K.A. is there to answer that. There's a lot of applications for mini P.E.K.K.A. Giant, Witch, Bomber, Baby Dragon, Musketeer, mini P.E.K.K.A. Those are probably the top tier cards in this category, because you want AoE behind a Giant. You want to be able to counter the Giants with the mini P.E.K.K.A. You want to be able to counter like Barbs and Skeleton Army with Bomber. Bomber's just a really decent all-around unit. It'll be able to get the skeletons from Witch. It does a lot of damage to turrets too as well early on. It one-shots all of these units here. It stops the Goblin Hook from pressuring you, so if you're having trouble with spawners, you should really think about getting the Witch or the Bomber and put a Giant in front of that. Mini P.E.K.K.A. would be like your damage, so if you can get a mini P.E.K.K.A. Giant Bomber push, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to deal with that unless they have something like Minion Horde. But Minion Horde can be really stopped by Witch, arrows, early on. Minion Horde doesn't really come into play until later on in the game anyway, over here in Arena 4. And you don't really get counters until Arena 5, where literally this entire subsection of Arena 5 is a minion horde counter. Zap, Fire Spirits, Furnace, Poison, and the wizard are all targeted minion horde counters. And this arena right here is really why late game players might think that minion horde really doesn't have a place in the game. But the way that your playstyle is set up really dictates everything. If you are set up to be a counter pusher player, minion horde can probably be one of the best cards in the game, unless you get caught out with a predicted arrows, which means you have to play unpredictable minion hordes. So if they do try to predict with arrows, then boom, instead of minion horde this time, you cast a mini P.E.K.K.A. and they try to predict in arrows, and you can cause outplays like this. So swapping between that and trying to predict that they might predict arrows you, knowing what's in their deck is really, really big. And I'm going to show you guys how to find out what their deck is. Early game is really about probing. What I do is, let me check any random match here. What I do is, early on, I will cast really low cards, like Fire Spirits or Spear Goblins, all the way in back. And this is really just probing. You can tell them that you have these units, but what really matters is what kind of power units you have. That's what really matters. What kind of structures you have. What is your deck's win condition? What's your strengths here in your deck? And that's really the most important part, is probing your enemy, trying to find out what they have without causing too much of a counter push, without causing too much of a risk of damage on your turret. Probing early on to find out what they have to be able to counterplay everything later on and force them to make a misplay. Understanding this dynamic is like probably the most important part of Clash Royale throughout the entire game. From the beginning to the end, this dynamic doesn't really change. Finding out what they have, forcing them to make a mistake. Now, a lot of what this game is finding the deck that you like. And a lot of that depends on what arena you're in. And I've had all the cards for a very long time now. I got to Legendary Arena in like 2 months of playing the game. Free to play. When I got to Legendary Arena, when I got to Arena 7, I bought $50 worth of gems because I wanted a bunch of cards. I always told myself, is if I unlock all the cards, then I will buy something right from the game. So just to have all the cards and be able to work around with something, play more into the game. I do recommend that. It's not a bad idea. This is a very relatively cheap game, especially when it comes down to tournament grade qualities. As you see here, my deck is almost tournament grade. The only thing I'm missing is Furnace. Big deal is, this isn't my main deck, but this is a deck that I'm building, trying to work on, and max out for tournament. One of the most important parts of this game is joining a guild that's active. Joining a very active guild and making sure your guild is healthy. Look, I just recently kicked out a bunch of my friends. These are actually friends that I know, but I know that they ended up taking off from the game, either quitting or just haven't played in a really long time. And promoting people I know that are active, making sure that I don't kick them by accident. Now, this is very important because look at the donations. Donating in Clash Royale is one of the best ways of finishing and fine-tuning and polishing. Everything about this game is about maxing out your cards' levels. Now, it gets really ridiculous in the actual arena, and I don't really like to play a whole lot of that. I mostly focus on tournaments, and I haven't played since yesterday, but I have some clips of this tournament yesterday where I pushed up to first place and then I stopped playing. I still have yet to lose a match in this tournament. And here would be like a bunch of the matches from yesterday. Just all victories from the players in there, and then it stops like right here. I just started doing clan matches on stream, but I want to go into a video right now and show you guys a little bit more. Here we go. So I just logged in to Clash Royale yesterday on my stream. Pop a free chest. Really big deal. It's like every 2 hours you get a free chest. Every day you want to be collecting your crown chests when you're trying to progress and trying to unlock more on your tournament decks. If you just started the game, this is very important. Unlocking cards, building up your card levels, focusing and tunnel visioning your card levels. So right before stream, I actually joined this tournament. I played a few matches, and I placed a decently well so far, just to play it off. This is a 3-day tournament, and I don't really like 3-day tournaments because they're really like, you have to be really active. So he's going to open up here with Hog Rider. I play Spear Goblins and Fire Spirits to get the Hog Rider off. It does a lot of damage. If you get that tanky kind of bruiser unit off your turret first, then the DPS, which is the wizard, won't do too much damage, and you can come out with an elixir advantage because I just played Pump, and I didn't want to play a whole lot of cards with it. Now, one of the biggest counters to Mini P.E.K.K.A. is small units like skeletons, goblins. If you see what I just did there, I minion hoarded on his big tank to pop out his little lava pups, right? Then I fire spirited the ones close to the turret to get them off. Now he could have zapped at like any time there and made a lot of damage, but he didn't. I got my Mini P.E.K.K.A. up on the turret. It did a decent amount of damage with a minor tanking. Now I have double pump here, and one of the biggest things about my deck is really pumping. And I run my deck in a different mentality than a lot of players. I do more of an investment deck. I don't care about pumping if it's like too late or too early. If the field is not going correctly and I'm not controlling the field right now, or the elixir status right now at the current moment, and I can't make a push, I pump, because I force them like this to come to my playing field. And what I'm gonna pause it right here. I'm gonna pause it right. Now, what I just did right here is I'm gonna play you a little bit of the audio from the stream. I wish they had a fast forward button on this. They do, but it's really messed up. That's how summoners work. Well, check my game again, bro, because I'm underneath the Clash Royale area. This is the live audio from my stream yesterday. Now, what I want to tell you guys is that watch this Hog Rider. Watch this Hog Rider. Watch it. We know what he has. He has a Lava Hound and he has a Wizard, right? To counter Lava Hound, my only counter is Minion Horde, and like I said before, it's really risky because I just showed you guys the plethora of counterplay option cards at a higher level of the game to the Minion Horde. I lied. I literally just said, watch this Hog Rider, right? Come on. Always right. So predicting what they're going to play is very, very, very important. The turret's going to clean up these archers. I mean, these, archers. These minions. He's going to zap the gobs, which is going to put his zap on 8th card right now, rotation. Which is a really big deal. Because these fire spirits can become like a shield for the Mini P.E.K.K.A. now. Because my Mini P.E.K.K.A. is coming up. He still has 8th card zap. He can't zap my fire spirits, which means I know that I can watch. And it's going to be wizard matched with a wizard. I just called it out on stream that he's going to wizard behind his Lava Hound. This is so important to understand your counters in this game. I understand my counters. This is more of like a later game kind of thing going on right now. More of like a later play style, because I know like a lot of people that are looking for beginner advice, you're obviously not going to have all of these cards, but it will make a lot more sense as you unlock more and more cards and understand more and more of the strategy of Clash Royale. Now, Wizard? I pre-miner to where his wizard's going to be out of the area of my minion horde.
I'm going to miner his
and I
wizard.
put a frontal minion horde, and look where this wizard's going to focus. Oh! Oh! What did I... Alright, I was getting all hype on stream. But, that's the main point, is like, let me just mute this and play it and show you guys how it plays out. The minion horde's full HP, not unscathed, untouched. They're still good to go. I got rid of a 7 elixir push with a lot less. I have 2 pumps up. I have the mini P.E.K.K.A. coming in. And I mean, even if the thing had any HP, it didn't really matter. You know, he just played a random hog rider, I don't know for what. But it didn't matter. 30 seconds left. I got 1,000 HP to defend. He has 1,800 on his turret now, and it's a really good game from here. Like you can't come back from that kind of an outplay, I guess. Is he just lost so much elixir right there. And if we could see his side of the field, he's really, really thirsty on elixir. You know, he doesn't really have anything to come back from that. And with the cannon defenses and a hog rider, he's not gonna be able to make a push anymore. Really, I think what he's trying to do is simulate the miner with the hog rider. So what he's probably trying to really do is put a lava hound in and then miner him back, but really is using a hog rider to simulate that instead as a mini tank. I don't really recommend that. I don't like the lava hound. I fought it a lot, and without the miner it feels very, very hard to use. It's just like the minion horde, exactly like the minion horde, except you have a tank to bring it to the turret, and and it's controllable. You know when it's going to explode, so you know when to counter it. Let me bring you back over here and show you guys just like a random live match. Let's just go right into it. So this is my favorite deck. Pretty nice, even. I told you guys the dynamic behind it before, and I just want to see if I might be able to get a match in this tournament. Big thing about me personally is I've migrated over towards like tournaments only. I don't really play live arena. I got up to legendary arena, and really that's all I wanted, is just to get there. So this is like a really good opening hand. And I'm going to go in there with a Fire Spirit Shield around the mini P.E.K.K.A. Force him to try and respawn with that. I got a big chunk off of his turret right there. And I'm going to just... What? Hello? I don't care. Hello? What the fuck? Okay. It would have been nice to be able to defend against that, but oh well. Okay. Well, that happened. Whatever that was. I didn't click anything. I'm gonna get those spear gobs out. Alright, so we're at a pretty big disadvantage here. We made a comeback though. So I'm pretty sure he's going to place something to counter this. Alright, so we got Mini P.E.K.K.A on the turret. This is going to do some pretty nasty damage. And we can just go for the miner to secure the win. And we got it. Good game. Even with the big hiccup, I was able to make a comeback. This guy was a little bit lower in the tournament. Not really worth too many points. Sorry for going a little bit silent there, but that's just how I play the game. I'm not really used to being like a live commentator when I'm like talking. But moved up. Even with that disconnect, giving him a free turret, we still were able to make a comeback. Being able to like predict what he was going to do. And you've seen what I called out there earlier. Probing his deck, I found out what his deck was. His counters to like my risky unit, as you would say, minion horde, were Fireball and the Wizard. So playing minion horde ever defensively, does he ever have a chance to Fireball it? No, because my minion horde's going to get value. So if he plays like, let's say Valkyrie, Musketeer, Mini P.E.K.K.A, and I minion horde those units, or even the Giant and I minion horde those units. Giant is a 5 unit. If I kill his Giant with minion horde, or almost kill it, at least let's render it useless, it doesn't reach the tower. If I can put the miner to tank the Wizard and almost kill the Wizard, this is a 10 play. This is an 8 play. I can delete this, nearly kill the Wizard. Sometimes, in most cases, miner can 1v1 the Wizard. But then he'll be forced to Fireball the minion horde in order to make sure that I don't have a rebuttal effect. So understanding your matchups and understanding your weaknesses is really the most important part about beginning the game. I can't stress that enough, is looking at why you lost. Why do you lose? Ask yourself why you lose. What card caused you to lose? Now, that wasn't really a good example of probing either, because right at the beginning I had a Mini P.E.K.K.A miner Fire Spirit opener, and that's a really, really difficult like opener to counter. You have to like basically zap the Fire Spirits and then place like some kind of like small units like goblins. Not to mention, if they have zap on their hand, they can just zap your goblins, and then you have to play something else in order to counter that. Meanwhile, you have to have like a Mini P.E.K.K.A on the miner to dispatch the mini tank that's on the turret. So it's a pretty difficult push to deal with right on the open. If you don't have the cards in your hand to deal with it, it's kind of difficult. I mean, obviously any kind of like cannon or something like that can also deal with it. You don't really need to do Fire Spirits then, or zap the Fire Spirits. But cannon doesn't deal with it alone, because you do have to take out the miner. But besides the points, I'm going to get into more advanced Clash Royale videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm reaching like 24 minutes on this video. So I'm really, really looking forward to your guys' comments below on what I do next for Clash Royale. one of the biggest things about this game is I asked you guys on Twitter and Facebook, what do you guys want? One of the biggest things is getting yourself into good habits in this game. One of the viewers asked on Facebook, what kind of habits do you get into? And probing habits and quick placement habits. Getting into muscle memory, because I really, really like my cannon. I like cannon as you've seen how many times I used it against that giant. It distracts any unit. It can move it away, and you control where that unit goes. So if they're running Giant Sparky, you can make Giant and Sparky move to the left a little bit, expose the Sparky, and then you can actually deal some damage to that backline. Separating the tank and Spank dynamic, pushing them over to the side, it turns them on like a diagonal radius where you can push something into it, right? So like when that Sparky does come into your lane, zap it, you throw it on a mini P.E.K.K.A. or something like that, and boom, you're on it. You're on it right away. You're not on the tank. You don't have to kill the tank. You just distracted the tank. The tank's over to the left. You got rid of the DPS. So really, really, really good play. Lots of value. But if you misplay your cannon, the point is getting into the muscle memory, being able to quickly reaction plant something. That's really one of the most important things in the game, is getting your quick plays down, being able to reaction predict play, knowing what they're going to hit you with, knowing what cards they're going to use, and knowing what you're going to use before they even do it. So like I said in that video, I wanted to show you guys the audio of my live stream, because I say it out loud a lot of times when I'm on live stream, is he's gonna play this, he's gonna play that, so I'm gonna play this, and I'll tell you guys like live on stream, like I'm gonna miner right here because he's gonna play a wizard behind there. I know he is, and if he does that, I know that I can kill the miner or kill the wizard with my miner, and then I can put up some risky units on my side of the field. So really, that is what this game's about. It's about the counterplays, it's about the predictions, it's about outplays. It's an amazing game. I highly, highly recommend it. It's my favorite game right now. I love Clash Royale, especially with the addition of tournaments. Especially with the addition of tournaments. But if you guys have any questions whatsoever for like a player like me, I rushed through this game so fast. With like just bare minimum cards, tournament standards, like that's all I'm doing is just requesting cards in my guild, getting tournament grade cards. That's all I do on a daily basis. I am 100% free to play now. After, I mean, I don't know if you want to count that, because I did pay money into the game, just like $70, which is basically like buying an Xbox or like a PlayStation game. You know, I do believe in supporting game developers, so I mean it's not really that big of a deal to me. I'm not going out and gemming like a crazy beast. But again, I gotta remind you guys, it does help me out. Slap a like on the video, slap a comment on the video, share the video to whoever you think this might help out. If you do comment, let me know what you want to see in future Clash Royale videos, because I do want to keep doing these kind of videos, but I need to know what you guys want. I need to know what you guys need, you know. And if that does become a thing, you guys give me a good response down there in the comments. I promise you, I will make videos informing on like what's going on, how to do this, that, or the other thing. But thank you guys so much for watching. I couldn't do it without you guys. I really couldn't. I really hope that you enjoy Clash Royale as much as I do, because I really want to start pumping out a little bit more videos on this game and see where it goes, where it takes me. But thank you guys. I'm out. Peace. Have a good day.